I guess my patience has gone down. Anyway. But my feeling was that it always had way too many pay-to-win mechanics for a game that is not free-to-play. They still apparently are going to make it free-to-play, but it's not yet. And especially at launch, it was very expensive to play that game early. We played to be beta testers, and we were beta testers. That game was rough. It's apparently in a rough place, but still top 3 on Twitch. 10 out of 10 kids games. Well, he's not a PvP guy. He's a save the world guy, which is what I'm talking about. Save the world. Obviously, the PvP is still king, but the weird thing is the reason I bought Save the World personally and spent so much money on it is on paper it was like a game I'd been waiting for. Oh, you build forts and you defend from waves. You know, it was horde mode. It was horde mode as a full-fledged title that was showcasing the Unreal 4 engine's technology and capability to be a live service game. It's a game they'll build forever. Not forever, but you know, years and years to come. This is going to be the flagship of the Unreal Engine 4 and of this live service model in general. So a whole nother level. And it's horde mode. So it sounds great on paper. But horde mode was great because you didn't have X energy in a day, and you didn't have to ever use V-Bucks, and you didn't have loot boxes. You just had some cool abilities, and you leveled up your guy, and you got more abilities, and you killed the hell out of some locusts. Now the swarm. And Fortnite had that basic functionality in place, and then watered it the hell down with what we're talking about. Research points, parts, schematics, RNG for your power, because it was behind the survivor system that was really weird. It's not weird now, but it took a little bit of learning, and then what you really learned is that actually most of your power was behind loot boxes. It's better now, though. And I mean, people like Gumby and Repo that have been playing it a long time, they're so geared up that they can just tear shit up. And I guess that's my one area where I disagree with Gumby. I respect his opinion. He's played the game the hell of a lot more than I have. But I think that he should fuck up. You know, he's played the game a lot. He's done pretty much everything. Him and Repo and that whole gang, Allura, which we still host all the time. You know, they've got all the good guns. And the good guns should tear things up. The only thing that game needs to do for them is give them more stuff like that boss battle. Anyway, meanwhile, Tech Season rage quit Lego Star Wars because he got stuck on a level and refused to reset even though you don't lose any progress. Those games can be really nice. Games don't always have to be Dark Souls. Some of my best gaming experiences are playing games that aren't, hey, all that tough. So yeah, I mean, I would also not blame him if he's burning out. I mean, he's been on that game like 2 years. I think he's trying to diversify a little bit. He's been getting good numbers for World War Z. He clearly likes that game too. He goes like in his zone when he plays World War Z. He played the fuck out of Division 2 and went really hard, but wasn't happy with it. And obviously here in our neck of the woods, I'm just planning on playing the shit out of some Borderlands and PvP games. We're gonna keep doing our thing. It's 2 other games. I think there might be even 3 on that wall, but there's 2 we definitely have to hit. Which is Fallout New Vegas and Red Dead Redemption 2. There's time, I want to revisit Fallout 76. And I'd like to jump back into State of Decay 2, which we talked about. That's the order of priority though, is Red Dead, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 76, and State of Decay. And our time frame, the big deadline is September 13th when Borderlands 3 comes out. And in between that time, we also want to do these 100% runs on all the Borderlands. We didn't help that plan out anymore. I should say I didn't help that plan out very much by taking 2 weeks off, but if I don't know, we'll just try to stay focused, do our best. I'm sure we can at least get most of it done if we can do that. What's Division 2? No shit. I don't even know if Steven plays it much anymore. I know there's raids out and stuff. How popular is it on Twitch right now? I'm so confused by the Division 2. It had such great reviews. Everyone talked like they loved it. And yet, it just doesn't seem to make that many waves. The whole market's in a weird place right now. Of course, we're in the summer, and the summer is a bit dead as far as games are concerned. It's, you know, that September, October, November. That's the big time. That's when the shit gets real and everyone's talking again. What tax season calls hardcore. It's a 2K viewers. That's pretty solid. Thank you, Wilson, for telling me that. That's pretty solid. It seems comparable to Division 1. Just the way they talked, you'd think that that game would be a king, though. One of the kings. But for some reason, it's not. And I've heard it explained just a few times to me that your build choices ultimately really don't matter. Everything comes down to DPS. That the Dark Zone got neutered all to hell. I personally thought that it was cool that they added PvP, but I compare it to something like Gears of War, which I think has the best third-person PvP cover shooter still ever done. I can't believe no one's actually been able to compete with them yet. That's still the smoothest, most fluid, easy to control, intuitive. I give you a fucking adjective salad on that, because Gears of War, it only gets more remarkable to me because no one's been able to do it. No one but them has been able to make it that smooth and easy to play. It's just A button. It's A button to grab your cover. It's hold A button to sprint. It's B to lunge over cover. It's so simple and it works so well. And we get Gears of War 5 at E3, and I'm looking forward to that. I beat the story on Insane. Sadly, I don't think I was streaming at the time. That was a long time ago. That was when I took some time off after our first year of streaming, that I did that off stream. We'll have to make sure we do the next one on stream. Anyways, Apex keeps dropping, which is sad. I will probably re-peak for a week or so after Season 2 drops. It definitely will. If they do really good season drops, Derek, they're going to stay in there. When people say it's dying... Again, we played Battleborn, Derek. We know what dying looks like. It's... Dying is not, hey, you're in the top 10 on Twitch. Hey, you still have millions of active players every day. I wish that Fortnite could overtake... I mean, I wish that Apex could overtake Fortnite, but... I've got a 9-year-old nephew I spend a lot of time with. And his eyes go a mile wide every time he looks at Fortnite, and he starts giggling uncontrollably and jumping up and down and running across the room with raw excitement because, and he's a smart kid, he's not like fucking, you know, ADHD or anything, because of the way it looks. It looks like a freaking Pixar movie. It's just perfect for him. And adults like Ninja can play it, you know, and oddly, it's got that very popular competitive scene ultimately. It's a phenomenon, and every time someone thinks the phenomenon's gonna get knocked, it doesn't pan out. But Apex, to me, is the real contender still. I don't think it's gonna overtake it. You can't. Fortnite is so big across such a wide demographic. And Apex is always going to speak to the people like you, Derek, or myself, or Tyrell, and The people who grew up with Halo and the old school Call of Duty and like Titanfall and Doom and just want a fucking true, honest to goodness, genuine FPS game in the old way. Reflex, hand-eye coordination, twitch skills, aim. And for some reason these 13, 14-year-olds, it's not what they want. It's not what they seek. They like that the bullets are random. They like that you can avoid death by building a sky tower. And I think personally our generation, we're kind of the last of that old school, man, that didn't grow up with the whole fucking social, you know, we're right on that edge of social media explosion and having the mobile phones. We still had the iPod, for God's sake, and maybe we're just getting old, but we still want it to be your gun versus my gun, who's the quickest in the West. They want your gun versus my gun, who's got the best luck. So it's probably like 60th or something. It's way down. That is way down. I think Division 2 used to pop like 5, 6K viewers. I don't understand, especially they just released their Stronghold. The thing is, I don't see any like criticism videos out there. I don't see hardly anything out there. It's really weird to me. There's no like, it's making a great comeback, or why is it so deeply flawed? It's none of that. It's just, it's here, it exists, it got good reviews. I think it was so damn similar to Division 2, Division 1 I mean. It didn't make the mistakes of Destiny 2. It wasn't a shell. Destiny 2 does great these days. Destiny 2 is not going away. And Destiny as a franchise is not going away. It's taken massive blows for damn good reason. But it has a ride or die group behind it that is strong, and it's not going anywhere. I think it's like 10,000 views right now, isn't it? It's kind of back to where it was. It made a full-fledged comeback in a big way. But that didn't happen. I just don't see that happen with Division 2. There's not much passion. Videos positive or negative at least imply passion. Someone's concerned, someone's worried, someone feels something about it. It's like nobody fucking feels anything about it. It's here, it exists, it's generally good. If you like Division 1, you're gonna like Division 2. Okay, we're over it. Which is weird, because it is so solid, right? Mechanically, it's got tons of detail, graphically. There's apparently not much of a story, which it definitely doesn't seem like there is, but it functions. It is matter. It is a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 on IGN. And I guess maybe it played it too safe? That's a very passive voice statement, so I'll make it stronger. It played it safe. Borderlands 2 takes leaps. It makes big leaps between 1 and 2 in many different ways, from quality of life changes to a deeper, more complex gun system, better skill trees, a wider breadth of in-game activities, a good story, a much better story. It was more, it was bigger, it was better, and it was a leap. And I think maybe that's the issue there. Alright, let's take out the passive voice again. I think that's the issue there. I think that's the issue with Division 2, is it played it too safe, and there isn't enough of a leap there. You could still get a hell of a lot of playtime in Division 1. You could still spend a lifetime in Division 1 trying to perfect your gear system. And from what I've heard, I haven't played enough of it, they neutered that system, they simplified it, and that killed a lot of it. Which goes kind of full circle to, we say it doesn't repeat the sins of Destiny 2, but perhaps it did. And it's that thing that these companies do where they dumbify it for some reason. Morrowind to Oblivion. They didn't dumbify it, they had to make some cuts. I wish acrobatics was still there, I do, but okay, I get it. But Oblivion to Skyrim, I'm not a Skyrim guy, man. I don't know. I know some of you are. I know something loves Skyrim. Skyrim to me is... It's like a sissy version of Elder Scrolls. Now I'm talking like Gumby. Look here. Look, listen. Hey, well, you have an iPod because the iPod is, you know, freaking great MP3 player. I don't mind. You know, people are like, oh, I want a multi-tool. Dude, I have a Kindle. I have an Xbox. It plays games. That's all I need. That's all I want. Kindle. I can read books on it. That's all I want. I don't need a tablet. I don't need 15 million distractions. An iPod. An MP3 player. Makes sense. I just want a device that just plays music, and I want it to do that one thing really well. People always want these multi-tools anymore. I don't like multi-tools. They just distract from the thing the tool's supposed to do. And they do 15,000 jobs half as good as the one tool that can do it really good. Like 60 or something. We do know what dying looks like. Yeah, exactly right. Preach, Derek. Preach, as you said. All massive youngling population will never let go of Fartnut. Fartnut, I've never heard that one said. Kids are killing good games on Twitch. It's possible. You know, what you just said is completely possible. You're making a good point, Zed. I don't even know if you meant to be deep or anything, but we don't know yet if Twitch is an influence, which it is. I just don't like the term influencer, but it makes sense, and that's why these people are getting paid so much. Like, you know, paying Ninja $1 million to play Apex. We don't know yet if that is a positive or negative. It is very possible that's a negative. It's totally possible that this whole element of the industry now has been just as negative as the microtransactions and the loot boxes and the DRM. I think even Ninja went on a little bit of a rant saying like that streamers and Reddit can have a really negative influence on games. But you know, at the same time, and he's like, that's how you get Halo Reach and shit. I think him saying that actually discredits his argument, because Halo Reach was a symptom of the industry. It is as it has always been, in that the industry trends towards a certain way. There's a hit. There's a Fortnite. And in that case, back in the Halo Reach days, it was Call of Duty. Call of Duty was the king. By far. And so everyone copied them. That's how you got Gears of War Judgment, which was, people didn't like. Apparently it was okay, but it had the whole Call of Duty loadout system. Same thing with Reach. Reach was an amazing game. People shouldn't shit on Reach, but everyone was copying Call of Duty. And that's just what happens. You know, Fortnite was a hit, so now Battlefield has a Battle Royale, and Call of Duty has Blackout, and there's... Well, really, it starts with PUBG. And really, it starts with H1Z1, and really, it starts with ARMS. Anyway, you get the idea. You know, there was this trend. The trend will eventually break. The Call of Duty trend broke. Market saturation, and then it just goes on again. So if you know, you can't just lay blanket blame on forums, social media, and Twitch streamers, because there's executives that have been making decisions since the 1970s, since Alan Bushnell and the Atari, of holy shit, that's a hit, give me 20, I'll take 50 Call of Duties. My iPod video. Oh my god, so that's so what it is. My gun is the best, so I'm better. Yeah, I always have to compare things. I tried to get my nephew into Borderlands. He played a little bit, but I always had to, like, in order for him to understand the systems, it's like, he would always ask, so that's like the gold scar? It's a little deeper than that. Anyway. These kids these days, get off my lawn. We had to walk to school uphill both ways. In the snow. Actually, it's made by a corporation, and the corporation makes gun parts. And those gun parts they are understood through the acronym on the gun's title. Then you have the color. Let's go from there. And he was like, alright, I'm gonna load up Fortnite. Play creative. True. Wilso says, well, then I turn it around and ask why you're not playing it. Playing what, Wilso? That might be better than the one we had. It's got explosive. I mean, it's a max roll. I've never seen LB27. That's weird. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I just want to change it up. Swing and a miss. They always like to go down this, like, cybernetic digital stuff. They've done this for, like, every DLC. I don't know what... Digistruct Peak and... the Claptrap... robot thing in the pre-sequel. I have a Zune, nobody ever. Since 2008. No shit, the Zune... Zune didn't work out too well for Microsoft. Neither did the Windows Phone, but the Windows Phone was actually freaking sweet. I don't know why it failed so hard. I had a Windows Phone. I loved that thing. I can't wait for BRs to die. Like, I enjoy Apex every now and then, but I miss old school RPGs and shit. They still exist. Your Monster Hunter World? It's still around. New Dragon Age is apparently going to play exactly like Anthem. I'm sure you're looking forward to that, Zed. Every now and then. I thought you were playing Apex pretty hard, Zed.
Another trophy from my wall.
Like almost every AAA title is FPS with BR tagged on it. There's been a lot of cool, I mean, you're a PlayStation guy, so you're on the right system for the RPGs. Detroit Become Human. What was it that just came out, like... Prisoners of Argonon. PlayStation still seems pretty devoted to those storytelling, role-playing games. Lucky for you. So why are you playing Division 2? Because it's Division 1. I've already played it. There's nothing there to motivate me, and I fucking am sick of gear score systems too, I'll tell you that, Wilso. Really. What gear score systems do to a game, it has one positive. It gives players a soft level cap so that they can feel like they're kind of always increasing in power, and it gives them incentives to continue to do activities. But that's only an illusion because there is an end to it. And everyone just figures out the most efficient method to possibly hit that gear cap, and they do that, and then they're there, and it's no different than hitting a level cap. And then the second thing is that it completely negates all the earlier leveling. It just means that the whole level cap is a preliminary amount of work you have to do to get to the real leveling. But every game fucking copies and pastes that system anymore. It worked well in World of Warcraft, and it made sense in World of Warcraft. Because World of Warcraft had a massively high level cap. And there were lots of really intense endgame activities. So having a gear score system in that game makes sense. It ended up working in Destiny 1. Especially because it felt so fluid. You know, no one really knew the end of it. and it felt like it was always in this kind of range, and it really did feel powerful as you got up the gear scores. They did it right. And I don't think Anthem obviously did it for shit. The worst possible way you could do it. Everything relies on the gear score. Everything. And, you know, to the point where you take this aggregate, so you want to take the average of less numbers, so you unequip gear, you unequip your gear, and we all know the story at this point. How you do an action RPG, or especially a looter shooter, and make that your system is beyond me. I guess the crunch. And then Division 2 does it. And if Division 2 does it, and from what I've heard, all that matters is DPS, then it's boring. It's so boring, because you know you're just going through the motions to get to the real game, and then you got to get to the other real game, which is busting out world tiers. They designed a game mechanically completely around grinding. And it made sense to begin with because it seems like that's what players always ask for. Turns out that makes a very dry experience. Now, I've been playing Dauntless MTG more than Apex of late. MTG, what is that? Oh, Magic the Gathering. Whoops. Sorry, you've been telling me that. You're actually really good at Magic the Gathering, right? You've been shitting on kids. Aren't you gold tier? I miss my good old turn-based JRPGs and whatnot. Iceborne launches, I'm gonna eat that shit up. There's some good turn-based RPGs on... I know you're a PlayStation guy, but on Game Pass right now. You would probably enjoy. They've also got Wasteland 2, and they've got Mutant World Zero. There's like 4 or 5 turn-based RPGs on the Xbox right now that are indies that look really cool. Yeah, turn-based RPGs are great. They don't do enough of those anymore. They've got that learning curve. Once you do it, man, they can be so addicting. I did last season in Diamond, started this season in Gold. Beast mode. Your real-life Magic the Gathering experience is translated well to the digital. ESO had a gear score, but it's just a rating on your character sheet. It doesn't affect anything. So if you have you're extraordinary and have 4 gold stars, that's cool. And when it has a champion system as well, like... It sounds like ESO does a really good job of making meaningful progress. And that's the next step. That's why I like Bar. Badass rank. It has a purpose. It's not just like, here's a gold leaf next to your name. Here's a, you know, a fire next to your name. It has a small but meaningful impact on the gameplay. So in Destiny 2, there was actually a difference between being like 222 and 223. But then in Destiny 2, what they found out was the less gear score, the better off you were, because what gear score defined was how much damage an enemy did and how much health it did against you. So yeah, you did more damage, but because the enemies did more damage because they had more health, you were technically less powerful. So players began raiding, instead of being at max light, they'd raid at like 210 light. It'd go way down. You were so much better off that way. And they might at the very end run their gear up, which I don't even think you could do. I think that was the big thing about the Destiny 2 raid, if I remember right, because we did play it quite a bit. Is the your gear was locked when you went into the raid. What was that? Yeah, I'll try it out. It's beside the point. I don't think I've ever even been in here. Yeah, champion points. Once oh, we had to have been here. That hole in our middle. Once you reach 160 champion points, that's the max level for gear, so that's when you begin endgame. Yes, that was a good MMO. I put a couple dozen hours into it. Nothing compared to you, obviously, but enough to know that it was really fun. Had an Argonian healer, and I loved their dungeons. They were so... You know, they were simple, but they worked. And they were fun to do. And I actually, you know, you felt strong. You felt like a healer. When you run a healer, you felt like a damn healer. It seems like that game only gets better and better all the time. ESO was able to pull it off. I wonder if Fallout 76 will be able to pull it off. Because apparently ESO was not good on launch. That's what I hear a lot. And it's made this amazing turnarounds. And that would be pretty sweet if 76 could do that. I'm just sick of games having to do that, though. She has a lot of health.
For the Crimson Lance.
It has indeed. Indeed.
I will crush you in my grasp.
I will crush you.
Steel trap.
Strong like a bear. Oh, she didn't.
Stay down. Unit in need of repairs. You'll pay for that. Take
She hits hard.
I'm hit. No. You'll pay for that. Taking fire. I'm hit.
So is this thing any good? Was it? Doing 42s. It's got a burst to it. I don't quite understand this, especially without an element.
Sustaining strokes for damage engineering.
Actually had a little bit of a loot explosion.
Please just kill me.
Yeah, it's not. Please just kill me. These people are suffering, being brought back to life. And it's so much worse. And it doesn't have an X, you know, it's not multiplicative or anything. So it's one of these. It's gonna be one of these that shoots a fucking rocket. These ones are always terrible. I've never seen one be good. Still have an AR. I think heavy is maybe second best in damage. Maybe. Two. Second best in damage. Still got a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Get up.
I can remember 3 letters and what they correspond to. Impressive stuff there. What you could teach a fucking chimpanzee in a lab to do in an hour. Do. It's near me. It's something red. You gotta want it, no kidding.
My toxic!
What? They've got the wire device? Too bad there are no plugs here. What do you mean it's wireless? Of all the stupid... No matter. Let the
Yeah, we probably have those components. I need to get those in. If we're gonna go ahead and knock that achievement out. Yeah.
apprenticers come.
Alright, as soon as we get this mission done, we need to turn that in. We'll take it all the way. Let's get it done so we don't have to do it on any of the other characters. The rate of fire is rough.
Nothing like a challenging.
That reload's not very good either.
Feel it!
Feel it! It's like Christmas. So it sounds like what they're gonna do for Borderlands 3 is really try to make you be dedicated to one character. Like, you can level them all up, but they want it to be almost endless, that one character continues to progress rather than making multiple characters. People are upset that they're not going to do DLC characters. I do think that they'll, what the fuck, still do DLC characters. The more I've thought about that, the more it's made sense. Like, ultimately, Brick was our main. And it's been a little weird because I don't normally play Borderlands games. I don't know how many of you guys play Borderlands games in the sense, the sentence. I'm trying to think about how to fucking work that sentence, but I guess I'm just going to continue with where it was. Play multiple characters all the way through. I loved Borderlands 2, so I did it because I could do it, but like, you kind of get connected to the one dude and that sort of feels like you've done it, you beat the game. You know what I'm saying? And so the idea that they want to make it that way and start to design down that avenue of another fucking one. Well, at least this one's a shotgun, not shooting rockets. Those are so bad. They're unique, I'll give them that, but they're not good or impactful in any way. There's quite a few guns in Borderlands 1 that are straight up gimmicks. What they changed between 1 and 2 is the gimmick guns are the most powerful. Iffy on doing more. Right, yeah. The way that they do DLC sort of weakens the momentum. The DLC in Borderlands has always been really good, but it's also always existed in a weird place of like, when exactly is a good time to do the DLC? Do I do it after the first playthrough? There's multiple there's, you know, 4 or 5 fucking playthroughs in Borderlands 2 to work with. When do I fit it in? And the only thing that matters is that you need to get your unique weapons at max level. Like Moxie's Grog Nozzle and stuff, or the Sandhawk. And that becomes it. Borderlands 1, even though it's a terrible DLC, Moxie does it pretty good in having the Moxie DLC give you skill points. So anytime's a good time, and that's a nice bit of incentive. Fallout 3 does that extremely well. Fallout 3, you know, you do the pit, you get the radiation resistance, and you get the, like, you become better with saw weapons, and you get a little more strength, like a mutant arm or whatever. And all the DLCs do like a little bit of that, like Operation Anchorage, you get spy vision, and that's, to me, ideal. That makes the DLC fit in good anytime. But when it's just raw XP and you're talking about a game with a level cap, that puts the game, that puts it in a weird place. Because once you do it at level cap, man, you're just kind of doing the motions a little bit. Like, yeah, you're experiencing the story the first time, but it's like the Division 2. You're just going through the motions to get the shit done so you have it unlocked. And that's never good. Especially on those endgame characters in Borderlands 2. By the end of Borderlands 2, you're in a place where your badass rank challenges are pretty much done. You can prestige them, but they're gonna, in order to prestige, you have to have like 90% of them completed, and some of them are very weird, and there's hundreds and hundreds of them. So you're gonna be mostly done with your challenges that are obvious, but you're not gonna be so done with all the little stuff that you can actually reset and do a prestige. I don't know what that does, but hey, I'm one of those people that just presses the red button. So you're not even getting badass rank. You're just running through quests. You're already at max level. I think I did the pirate DLC once through. And the thing with Borderlands 2 is it expects you to do the pirate DLC like 4 times. Not only that, it expects you, if you don't give and you're on console, if you do the OP levels, to do it many more times than that. It expects you to do it every time through, and then at the end to do the OP levels, it wants you to go through and routinely beat it 5 times to get all the Sandhawks. A minimum of 4. Bonus points if you do the 5th to get the Slag Sandhawk. But you want to get the Acid Sandhawk, max roll, fire, electricity. You want to get all the elements of the Sandhawk. And then you do it that 5th time because it basically has a chest room farm just like Nox, and so you do a run that has a glitch to it. Like you didn't actually complete all the quests and shit. It's just way too much. I don't know who did that system. It's a good idea, but if you don't use cheats, then the fucking time sink boggles the mind how they thought that anyone would do that.
Challenging and most final phase of Operation Trap Clap.
Anyway, I wonder if anyone ever finished every badass rank in Borderlands 2. I'm sure people did. I think that in my course, this might sound like a humble brag, but it's totally doable. It's totally doable. I think I prestiged on every character 2 or 3 times. At least my mains, like Maya, my Axton, and Gage was my main in Borderlands 2. And I think I got 5 prestiges on her, which means you get 90% of the challenges done. Is it worth? Oh, hell no. You just do it for the sake of saying you did it. There's a system in the game in which... Like, could you even play again after doing it? You can. What they did is they added with Ultimate Vault Hunter the ability to prestige your badass rank, which was cool and it worked. You'll see when we go and play Borderlands 2, if I get on my mains, you'll see like a little star next to the badass rank, and that's how many times you've prestiged. And I did that multiple times, but the only reason to do it is because there's some skins and heads attached to the challenges. So like there's a really cool gun skin attached to... Well, it's not a gun skin, it's a character skin in that game, but attached to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Assault Rifle, something like that. You have to get like 15,000 crouched assault rifle kills, which is one of the badass rank challenges, is crouched assault rifle kills, because they did like everything possible. So you sit there for about 5 hours and kill racks at the Destroyer of Worlds, the dragon thing. And you do it on every character, so each character can have the skin. It's a process. Like, it starts with the Bullymongs. You need to sit there at the beginning and hopefully have an infinity and kill all the Bullymong projectiles, and then you get to New Haven, or you get to Sanctuary, and you do your duels and a bunch of little things, and the thing is that the challenges of like find the vault signs, and like every area has like 4 or 5 different badass rank challenges attached to it. Those don't actually count towards it. You just do that for little odds and ends if you got them totally memorized. Trying to find our mission. Suck, are you interested in Google Stadia streaming gaming service? No, not at all. I don't know why they're trying it. Maybe it'll work this time, but I don't see it happening. But there's smart people over at Google, and they must have, you know, the feeling that they can do it. But it's been tried many times, Adam. This isn't new technology. Where the hell is it? It should not be that hard to find. It's... Oh boy. I mean, it's gonna have this main quest kind of thing. This is the Nox DLC. That's the main game story. Yeah, it's gonna have the vault sign. That's all I need to be looking for. There it is. Why is it listed under Arid Badlands? That's odd. Google, really? That's crazy. Google Cloud crashed during the presentation. That's not a good sign right there. It's not a good omen. Stream was buffering. Are you excited about it, Adam? Are you gonna buy Stadia? Yeah, Borderlands DLC is in a weird place. If you're not a completionist, it's fine because it's there. If you want to just go and fool around and do it, it's there. If you are a completionist, then you're gonna get to a point where it gets really redundant. You've already played through the story multiple times. There's no actual reward except for unlocking the raid bosses, but especially in the earlier playthroughs, there's no real reward. Borderlands has a really cool system to build like a twink on if you wanted to, but because there's no real reason to build a twink, and you're inevitably going to lose your twink because you're going to run through the level cap, it makes the early game activities mostly a waste of time. I need to sell my shit. Which sucks, because the game is really fun early game. Nah, it didn't. Okay. But it did like last weekend, so a bunch of stuff was down. I didn't know that. I imagine how bad the input lag is going to be. Yeah, it's probably not going to be great. There was a... I think didn't the Wii U try this shit before? And there was a console that came out not that long ago. When I was in college, it came out. Like the Live Wire box, I think it was called. NVIDIA Shield TV. There's one. Alienware. I don't know what that is. On Live. That's it. On Live. I remember this came out when I was in school. And it still exists. Oh, well. Oops. Inappropriate. Scratch that. Sony acquired On Live. Yeah, so this is not new technology though. On Live was the first one where it was the exact same idea. You had hold on, I'll pull it up. This is 10 years old. So Stadia trying to do what's already been done and still has yet to work or be pulled off. And I still don't think this is the future. I think there's a reason vinyl still sell better than CDs at this point. New isn't necessarily better. Some stuff just doesn't need to be. Like that we don't fly the Superjet thing anymore. The Concorde or whatever it was. There's a bunch of stuff that was really advanced that market forces deemed unworthy. I was talking to one of the Gearbox devs and dude was talking about how bad and obvious Bungie reuses content. Nice. I like that they're going to Guardian Con, Adam. I think that, in my opinion, Gearbox is doing exactly the right thing by calling out Destiny and trying to like compete with them head on. Cable companies are just not going to upgrade their equipment fast enough for this shit. I think you're making a valid point, Wilso. I think that was the big thing that happened with this box is there wasn't a ton of game support and you needed to have really fast internet. And this was going to be the most powerful game system ever. This was going to be, you know, an all-in-one. It was Twitch, it was every gaming console, it was a PC, and you just, oh yes, look at this cutting-edge graphics on Tomb Raider Underworld. It's the future of video games, and then we go to their website, and on live service has been discontinued. So the Stadia is just on live. And the on live didn't work out. One of the big reasons is what Wilson just said. You know, the arrow points this way. I'm gonna try it. They love the joke I used that we talked about. Stuck is like the... Oh god, that fucking pumpkin. They love the joke I used that we talked about. Stuck is the pumpkin gearbox we used for years. How do you have this relationship with like a dozen gearbox devs, Adam? You talk about the time that we joked about the pumpkin when we were looking at it in Borderlands. We looked at the pumpkin in here and we said, oh yeah, that's the fucking pumpkin from the Headhunter pack. How much have they reused that pumpkin? I'm jealous of your connections. I used that we talked about. I am confused on the subject of that sentence. Is the subject I or we? I demand new pumpkins every game. Gearbox has an easier time reusing assets because of the stylized graphics. Which, they've got a competitor now in Void Bastards. Void Bastards is like playing a comic book. It's crazy. I love the joke I used that we talked about previously, Stuck, about the pumpkin, the gearbox. It's reused for years. Alright. I'm gonna have an ego-driven moment. Say that I believe that the joke originated right here on this stream. And I've claimed a copyright on it, and I'll see you in the court of law. I wanted those gearbox lols. I'm butthurt. I'm not a little butthurt. I'm a lot butthurt. Butthurt. Man, that's not been a word I've heard in a long time. Butthurt. Not since like fucking middle school. Yes, Adam took credit for it and got laid because of it, so fuck you, stream. I have no idea where the hell I am. I tried to follow the arrow. Now I'm just more lost than ever. Who thought this was a good idea? I want to know who thought this was a good idea. Hopefully it's that Gearbox dev that Adam's a friend with. You can have the bad friend, Adam. He's all yours. Keep repeating our jokes to and saying that you told him. I'll sit here and labor. Adam took credit for it, got laid because of it. We were playing the Moxie DLC. Well, they have fucking used that pumpkin for 85 years. UI, me, see, she, he, it were right in claiming those. Cluck trap. This isn't the ultimate challenge. This is like, there's gonna be like 15 bosses in a row now. This thing's got a huge magazine. Yes, run away from me. If you don't think this map's annoying, just wait until you go down but not out and an enemy fucking runs away from you.
The time of the glorious revolution is at hand. No longer shall we rush about catering to humans' every whim, or be abused when your potato salad is a little too salty. How the hell should we know? We're freaking robots. Hello? No taste buds. I mean, really? Overreact much? So I say to you, my robots in arms, rise up and shout with one voice, Revolution!
No. I'm completely off again. I fell for the trap. I fell for the trap of the waypoint. Why do you do this game? This is the bridge that gets knocked down after you get back from the area. They're killing Nox. Yes. What are frogs? Who is this mysterious Gearbox dev that Adam knows six of, who loves Adam's jokes and wants to date him? Does he live in Adam's head? Is he somehow connected to the same voice in his head that says twitch.tv/Debbie is wet? Wants me. She really does. She's saying no, but she really means yes, if you know what I'm saying. Robosexual. Adam says, LOL!
I see. Flashing red light.
We gotta be close. Come on, this has gotta be it. There's no way they can jerk us around on this shit. But I don't think I quite remember this one. I don't remember this. Why do I not remember this? Have we fought this guy before? Oh my god. Now, whoever decided that the claptraps were going to be as weak as possible, that guy deserves a gold scar. A gold scar, a raise, and a week-long vacation at the medieval times. Gold scar for you, Radley. Where the hell is Radley? Whatever happened to him? He got replaced by Charles, and I'm not sure which is the greater boss. The trials carry for Terry. We really need to flesh those characters out. We've got to make them emotes. That's important. All so pathetically weak. We're almost through this. I'm just gonna start doing the side quests. So we're almost through this DLC and we've only gotten 75 of the components. I wanna get this one done this time.
That hurt?
Oscar Radley needs to look spastic like Yeah, okay, I agree with you there, Will, so I like that. I like that. We need to make a note of that. Overconfident, we'll say. We'll call Radley overeager. Yeah, okay. It's all trash, honestly. We could just keep running on that level 27 masher for now. Do I not have another assassin mod? Thought I kept one just for fun. It's not a reason to have one. It's not a great mod. I don't see a good reason to have it. I can't think of a build where it would be useful. He did drop this.